So the best way to talk about my first experience using a Qnap NAS is to basically tell you how I use it as a content creator. I was basically in a need last year of consolidating some different NASs around that I had into one solution and something that I could grow into over time and not just, grow out of really right away. And the Qnap that they sent along, the shout out to Qnap for sending us along for us to check out here, is really powerful. We can take a look at some of the specs here with this. This is the TVS-672N, and it's packed with some good stuff. It has a Core i3 processor with it, Intel 630 graphics built inside of it because it does have its own HDMI port, so you can actually plug this right into a TV and use it right for video right from it. It also has 4 gigabytes of RAM that it comes with. However, shout out to Kingston who sent along some more RAM for this to max this out to 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is going to be really good for me to grow into this here. It also has the ability to add 2 M.2 slots for caching, and shout out to Kingston again for sending some key C2000 PCIe SSD and NVMe SSDs to this to be able to use it for caching, which really speeds things up, especially when you're using stuff with a NAS here. Obviously depends on what you're doing, but it really helps with the cache acceleration here. Now this has two 1 gigabit Ethernet ports, but it also has a 5 gigabit port on it as well too, which is really cool because my switch, my SX10 switch from Netgear has 10G port, 2 10G ports on it, and then my system comes with a 10G port, so being able to take advantage of that, it's pretty cool to get that extra bandwidth and speed there with it. And also if I have other people accessing, I just got more room to be able to use it, which is pretty cool. It has a ton of USB ports on this thing. It has 2 USB type C's that are 3.2, USB 3.2, 2 USB type A's that are USB 3.2 as well. You also get a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. It has a built-in speaker that will actually talk to you when it powers up and powers down or any of the statuses. And it has an LED, little small LED in the front of it to also help you give you status, to show you the IP of the machine, all that stuff. Inside it actually has PCI express slots that you can expand this to add another graphics card to it, and some or even more powerful NIC card to it as well too, just to get more out of it. This is literally a mini PC with all the features that it has inside of here. And the way I had it set up here, I filled all 6 drives, but because of the current conditions going on, it's hard to get all of them matching. But shout out to Seagate now that sent along at least 2 of these. They sent me 2 16 terabyte drives, and I actually had 2 12 terabytes they sent me from a year ago for another NAS that I was using, and I have 2 8 terabytes in here as well. And I'll show you how I have them all configured up in here. And the best way to show that is looking at the software, which is the QTS software on here. And I'm telling you, this is some pretty cool, powerful software that they have on here that's constantly being updated. Pretty much every time I log in, they're going around and updating this to the newest, latest, and greatest features here with this. And it's got a lot of great things, and you can expand across this as you go along here. But the way I basically use this, let's open up storage and snapshots. This is basically where you're going to configure your storage, and I have 3 storage pools set up on a thick volume, and I have everything set up in a RAID 1. Basically, I have all these disks set up here in a RAID 1 for redundancy. I didn't really combine them because I didn't want to lose any storage because they're all mismatched disks. And I have one of the slots here filled out for caching and one of the M.2 SSD slots for caching across all of these to help with that and accelerate the speed, which is pretty cool. You can see a little bit here about the cache acceleration, and you can go in here and sort of manage it. And this is where you'll be doing a lot of your stuff in terms of managing your storages and your snapshots and how you want to add protection and things like that here to it. I haven't done too much with this yet. I just got kind of the basics here with it, but that's what you'll see in storage snapshots. But the next thing I want to show you is where I take advantage of this mainly is because I need backups, and I definitely need backups in the sense that when I am using this to be able to save the content, especially I'm using a lot of 4K content, taking a lot of high resolution pictures, I need to have the ability to back these things up. And these are two tools here that I use. One is Qsync, which is pretty cool. Qsync is pretty much like the OneDrive, but locally for your NAS, OneDrive, Dropbox, whichever one you want to call it. This allows me to basically add this right onto my PC and sync my drives. I like to have all of my content locally on my systems, and I have them all on different arrays of drives. And what this allows me to do is synchronize those folders back onto my system. So I'm able to connect my computer, and go into the, let's see, that's the events log, but basically under the settings within here, I'm able to sort of manage and synchronize all the files over, and I can have like a one-way sync or a two-way sync, whichever way I want to do it. This is basically the best way to do that for me. This has a ton of different features that you can use on Mac, PC, Windows, Android, iOS, whichever way you want to do it, to sync files all across those different systems using Qsync with your Qnap at the same time. This is, like I said, this is the way I really use this to be able to sync the files back onto my NAS. Now, I need to be able to back this up offline, or not offline, but basically off-site to another location. And the way I do that is using the HBS3, odd naming convention for this, but it's basically the hybrid backup system. What's cool here is I can set up backup jobs that I have going to Backblaze here. And when I have these set up on Backblaze, which is pretty cool, you can set up a backup or restore, and I just have different backup jobs that upload on a regular basis over to it, and it pretty much automates that right here for me. You got to do a little bit of setup, of course, but this backs up everything, and then whatever schedule I want it to have it backed up on, it syncs it with their cloud. So in case something happens here in my apartment, or something happens to the NAS, I have a place I can at least pull those files back down and be able to restore my all my content right back on here to it. It's such a valuable tool to really have here, and these are really the two things I've been really mainly using here. And that's, I think, one of the big things with the NAS, getting your content backed up, especially as a content creator. It's just so important to have that. I also have this set up with Plex as well too. It's been a great Plex machine. I think that's pretty self-explanatory how that works. I can stream content. I don't have any buffering issues. I'm doing it locally. I've had friends connect to it as well too. It's been a pretty good experience. But you can expand, like, I'm just showing you the backup here, but realistically you can expand this in any way you want to. You can set up different file shares and different things you want to. If you want to set up stuff here on your NAS, I'm sitting here using File Station, and within here you can set up different folders and things like that, and you can access it right from here and reach out and use your files if you want to. But this is really cool because then you can share this out onto the network, and then people can access it, mapping drives and folders, whatever and whatnot. If you want that to have set up, you can use. That's basically how you're going to use up your shares here with the File Station. I also have, if you open up here in the App Center, this is where you can expand this and add all these different applications. And there is a app store pretty much within here, all different sort of things from content management, business, and they're all sort of just right there. With one click, you can download it for all different things that you're looking for, because you can do so much with this software and this NAS. It's really powerful hardware. If you run a business, you can set up your own help desk if you want to. You actually can, there's one other thing you can set up in here. You can set up your own Ubuntu Linux station. I've been kind of testing that out. Wireless AP station if you want to set up for that, if you have everything configured for it. You can set up a mail agent. It's actually set up as a mail server. You can set up as a note station. You can actually set this up for, I believe you can also set this up with their own sort of office tools similar to Google Docs that are on here as well. You can have that set up. You have home automation that can be configured. There's a ton of stuff that you can sort of set up in, and you have a hybrid desk station, which allows you to basically set up your own sort of local sort of server with all the things you would need for a business in one section. You got multimedia add-ons, and you can add more and more to this thing and expand it really out more accordingly. There's so much that you can do with this. It's hard to kind of talk about it within one video. It's just really cool what you can do. And I've used other NASs before, and one of the two things I can say here is that, well, some of the other ones can be maybe a little bit simpler in the software. I really do think Qnap has done a very good job of expanding and making the software simple and smooth. I haven't had any crashing or any issues, but it feels powerful. It feels very easy. If you're somebody that's worked in IT before, you'll find this to be very familiar. It's very easy to get to your vitals and things like that. So if you want to see how your CPU fans, system fans are going here, you can see how much RAM is being used. You can see between each adapter and how that's set up and what bandwidth is going through those. It'll give you some news in terms of firmware that's been updated, and they're always updating firmware to this thing. You can see your data volumes and see how they're doing in terms of storage amounts, and just give you overall disk health and how long it's been uptime. Right there for you, really easy to just kind of check out and just see it there. But guys, definitely let me know if you want me to highlight anything specific. Like I said earlier, this has so much stuff you could do with this that it's really hard to pinpoint down. Like I said earlier, it's really hard was hard for me to try to figure out how to put this video together because there's so much that I could talk about that's really cool, but I don't want to make the video an hour. Like I could literally sit here for an hour and show you a ton of features and still not be finished with the stuff that you can do here on the Qnap. Definitely want to thank them for sending this along here, because this has been a great and positive experience overall here. Post your comments below. Let me know what you think about this, or anything you want me to check out with Qnap, and I can try out. I can see if I can do it here. Maybe do a little video on here, experiment here on the channel as we sort of grow things out here. And I want to thank Qnap. I want to thank Kingston. I want to thank Seagate again for sending all the stuff around, especially during this time, being able to get this together, because this has been definitely a very big help. Thanks for watching.